Another scorcher! Well, it is in this room, south-facing. Even with the blinds, it's still a bit of a sauna in here. Right, my dears. Are we sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. I'm in these straitened circumstances. A trial, one might call it, I suppose. Oh, hang on. I've got a cameraman, haven't I? I'm forgetting about him. Very good fellow. Doesn't require a lot of payment. Swiss Army knife and spectacle case, in fact. Right, so there I am, 2 a.m. in the morning, being interrogated by the police, the Northumbrian police, no less. And I've got my Bible by now. Anything you say or don't say, we're going to use it against you. No, I'm only laughing because otherwise I'd be crying, quite frankly. I mean, I've been made homeless by the situation. Whoever's responsible, or if no one's responsible. Right, I've got acute heart failure, and I've got a broken left leg. So I need a big operation on my left knee. They won't operate until they're confident my heart is fine. I'm now homeless, effectively. I don't have a GP in Alnwick. I have a fully paid up for this month rented tenancy in Alnwick at St Michael's Square for a year. Well, I'm afraid it's a bit of a difficulty. I've got a court case on the 4th of October, but I'm definitely trying to get it out of magistrates. No way do I trust magistrates. The very fact that the bail condition is that I'm not in my own home. That very fact, essentially, I mean, you know, if someone presents to me, medical background, it's a sort of medical term, but if someone presents and they are banned from their home, well, you're bound to think, well, there must be, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. There must be something wrong with this fellow. Just by the fact that I'm banned from my own home. And that is the position my enemies have achieved, whom we must love. This is the point of the story. I will get to it. It's all there in the Bible in front of me. I don't know it by heart yet. I might do by the time this is over. Be still and know that I'm God. I know that one by heart. That's Psalm 46, verse 10. Well, God put those people there. God put the house there. God put the square there, you know, if you like, from my perspective. I've gone there because I love St Aidan, St Cuthbert, the Venerable Bede, and King Oswald, all who lived in the year sort of 600, 700 AD, for heaven's sake. I most certainly did not go to have a huge blooming barney with the neighbours. They definitely offered me weed, the man in pink shorts, no doubt about it. He offered me a joint. Right. Trying to suck me into his drugs situation, whatever that is. The next thing I know, they're accusing me of being a paedophile. Well, in my circumstances, with a broken marriage with a woman who'd been sexually abused by her own father, and ultimately my son committed suicide at the age of 18 because of all of this. I don't think so. I really don't think that I don't get it that false sexual relations between adults and children are evil. So, that is probably the worst insult that anyone can make to me. And I told the police about it, and they did nothing. Just having a little slurp. It's jolly warm in here, I'm afraid. Love. Love must be sincere. Hate what is evil. Cling to what is good. Be devoted to one another in brotherly love. Honor one another above yourselves. Never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor, serving the Lord. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. Share with God's people who are in need. Practice hospitality. Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Mourn with those who mourn. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be proud, but be willing to associate with people of low position. Do not be conceited. Do not repay anyone evil for evil. Be careful to do what is right in the eyes of everybody. It is possible, if it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. Do not take revenge, my friends, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, "Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. I will repay, saith the Lord." On the contrary, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him something to drink. In doing this, you will heap burning coals on his head. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Amen. Now, just in case I needed reminding, or anyone else needs reminding, that is my position. For anyone who attacks me, they're the sad bunnies for being a Christian, particularly. There's something wrong in their heads, and I forgive them. Okay, I've been attacked on countless occasions all around the world, but the worst was in the Highlands in Scotland when these youths, I could not go out between 3 and 5 schools out time without being attacked, so I didn't. I was sort of under curfew. 12, 13-year-olds coming up to me and saying, "Jesus," like that. Oh, it hurts so. What family background have they got? I tried to go back to the Highlands to settle because I've got a Scottish background. Now, I'd been there back in the late 70s, 79, 80, 81. Loved it up there. Dingwall, Inverness, Ross-shire and so on. And I went back and I'd stuck it for 9 months. On one day, in Tesco's in Dingwall, which used to be the old cattle market, big Tesco's, in the lobby, whack, strawberry into my head, kids saying, "F Jesus." Got on the train up to Invergordon where I was staying. It's not far, 20 minutes at the most. But a second group of youths had a go verbally. And then I got into Invergordon, and these youths chased me around the streets, and I had to hide and get away from them for 2 hours so I wouldn't lead them back to where I lived, you see. I had the sense to do that, because if they knew where I lived, then I'd be even worse trouble. And that was just enough for me, I'm sorry. That was the youth of the Highland people. Well, there's pretty massive trouble coming if that is the way young people are brought up. In the Highlands, generally, I've felt, especially West Highland people are wonderful people. They're sort of open, lovely spirits, the older people. They sing the Psalms, for heaven's sake, in Gaelic. Very God-fearing. But not the youth. That was enough for me. That one day. I mean, it was heading in that direction anyway, but in one day to be attacked by 3 separate sets of youths. Of course I forgive them, for heaven's sake. But it's just the whole situation that their little souls can be so troubled as to behave in that manner. That's what sorrows me. And to my current circumstances, with the situation at St. Michael's Square, well, I've been in jail, I've been arrested 4 times. The first time, the woman invented this idea that I thwacked a child with this is a small stuff, I've got a main proper one, which the police have got at the moment, that I thwacked their little 4-year-old with it. Oh, man. I never even saw the child on that day. Pretty sure it was Thursday, the 10th of June. They'd been circling that square, all of them, the men walking around with the children, and then the women came round on their bicycles, all looking through my window and calling me a paedophile. All to do with my son, I suppose. They'd put 2 and 2 together and got about 17. Or whatever, I've no idea. They're sad little people. The woman must have pinched the child's leg to produce a sort of injury mark. If they've got any x-rays, which I very much doubt, okay, there would be x-ray evidence of a thwack in the bone. The following Thursday, the woman invents the fact that I've used abusive language. I saw her. I was talking to the mower man. His mower had broken down in the little squares of the grassy area. I saw the woman, but I'd gone stumm to them. Absolutely stumm. No words exchanged at all with them. As far as I'm concerned, they were beyond the pale. I wanted nothing to do with them. The third time is the big arrest, where they managed to get out of me a phrase that we were using, it's common currency in the house, and I absolutely will not repeat it, about the neighbour who was in the house of my friend and who nearly died on the causeway coming back from the Holy Island. And all the thanks I get is being arrested. The woman for whom I bought the motor car, she's still messaging me now. from Greenock, Scotland. It's all on their cameras because they had all their cameras. They absolutely lined this up. They knew I'd come over. Of course I'd go over to see how she was. We were rescued by 12 people at least, more. Several RNLI people, lifeboat, ambulance, police, the works, not a helicopter. The police had taken us back in separate police wagons. So obviously I'd go round to see how this person... I bought her a motor car, for heaven's sake. Idiot. Complete idiot. I am. And in her flat is the Polish woman. The Polish woman opened the door. The one who's abusing me. Ola Mitchler. It's in the court papers. I'll say her name. She started a YouTube site on the 3rd of June, making abusive comments to me, which I've screenshotted, and it's actually libel once they write it. I've been at my film since the year 2008. There are 3,500 films. I intend to print every title of those films, all 3,500 plus. I'm a Christian. It's hours and hours and hours of me speaking as a Christian. And if you think that Christian human being could ever, in your worst nightmare, thwack a child with a staff, then you are sad. I couldn't thwack a child. I'd rather kill myself. Truly, I'd prefer to kill myself before I thwacked a child. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46, verse 10. Well, for whatever reason, God engineered this. I didn't know the causeway thing, right? It was sort of pure happenstance that we ended up on the middle bit with a little walk up into a refuge hut. Without that refuge hut, we would have died. That North Sea is jolly cold, and no way could we swum back to land, and we would have just died in the sea. It would have taken too long. Even a helicopter wouldn't have got us unless they absolutely scrambled quickly. That was the actual acuteness of that Friday, the 25th of June. And I come back, and the woman I've bought the motor car for, they filmed it. It's in the police evidence. The police think they've got me. No, they've got themselves. They set it up. I used one untoward phrase. And for that, I'm condemned to losing my own home, and possibly a sticky end, actually, if I can't turn the situation around. But come on. My mother lived to the age of 95, for heaven's sake. I've got some good years ahead of me. This is just a load of crap, okay? It's crap. It's utter, total shite. Bullshit. What comes out of the back end of a cow? What have I done wrong? No. Did I go there to do wrong? Did I go to St. Michael's Square to wind everyone up, thwack their children, and abuse the locals verbally? I hardly think that would be in my intention, for heaven's sake. Of course not. You go in gently. You know, how's your father to your neighbours? Fine, 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 lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay, they have generated this crap. Therefore, the evil is within them, and my response is this single passage from the book of Romans, chapter 12, about love. That is my response. Amen. Love is the answer. Love. And I've got Mary down here too.